Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I'm Donna.
I'm Paula, and today we have the Welsh songstress. What's that? That's good. Caitlin Mae, how you doing?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing really well, thank you. How are you guys?
Doing good. Doing good.
Wonderful.
We're not doing as good as Donna, because obviously look at her amazing background, do you know what I mean? We're all indoors hiding away.
Although I do have to ask, I did see a Facebook post of this beautiful blue custom motorcycle with ghost flames. So I need to hear about that a little bit, because I'm a motorcycle rider myself.
I'm seriously, I want to learn to ride, and currently I say I'm stuck going on the back of my dad, but I love riding with him, but at the same time I think as long as I am riding with him, my mum will be like, well, you do ride, you just can't ride yourself, because she really does not want me to get a motorbike, and she just thinks it's dangerous. But I've said from a very, very young age that I wanted to ride. So it's not like news to her. And my dad was always like, yeah, you can. But then obviously I got to an age where I could. And my mum was like, no. But my dad recently bought a new Harley Davidson, a night train, and I just love it. I went up with him to get it. It was quite a drive. I'm not sure where. We took a trailer and we brought it home. The only thing that we didn't realize was we thought it was a soft tail, but it was a hard tail. But we'd already made this like huge journey up there, and he just absolutely loved all the like airbrushing, and he just fell in love with it. So he was like, we've got to have it. But it can be painful when you go over potholes and you're like, oh, ow, like so painful. But it's worth it, because it's just, I love it, and I've done photo shoots with it, but I haven't had the finished photos back yet, because I need to go to the photographers and choose which ones, because we like took hundreds.
It's going to be awesome. They're going to be great photos. They really are.
Oh, I just love it. And I mean, I'm going to wear my mum down at some point, and then I'll have one myself.
You can always tell her, can I start with an off-road one, and I'll do this off-road thing to learn it slowly,
I know, I'm like, I just want to, because I know you have to like start at like a certain, like a certain cc and things. But I'm like, I want to start now, because otherwise I'm going to be on a small bike forever. Like, I'll never make it to a Harley. Like, I'll just always be stuck, at this first stage. So
you should convince your mom maybe a little Vespa or something, a little 50cc or 100cc, like little, just a little one, like something.
Yeah. And literally before we went into like the first lockdown, I was about to, I'd sent off my provisional to learn to drive. And it like, I don't know, it like bounced back, and I don't know whether that was because that was kind of when we were going into the COVID period. And then at that point, like everything stopped, so I couldn't have driving lessons. And so up until now, when I finally got my provisional back, I've just kind of been waiting. So now she's like saying, no, just learn how to, actually drive a car first, and then we'll look at that. So I'm like, okay, I just need to pass this test. Then I can ride.
Well, what you can do is, though, I don't know if they do it in Wales, they do it in England. Once you've got your full driver's license, you can do a direct access on your bike. It's a week worth of tests.
Yeah.
It's a week worth of learning, and then you do a test at your end, and you can ride a 500cc.
Yeah, I think I have heard of that. I think like I need to do a lot more research, because like whenever you look on the internet, I always find that I'm not very good at like sieving through everything, but I always find that there's like 50% of it is like the correct information, and then 50% is not, and then you're like, which one is true? Like, you just don't know.
Yeah, I did my direct access, but obviously you have to have a full driver's license to do that. And then on the first day you do your CBT, which is what you have to do to ride a 125 on the road. So you do that, and that's just a day. That's quite easy. And then from day 2 onwards, you ride a 500 for the rest of the week, and you do your test at the end of the week. And that's it. Yeah. Unless you have to do your theory, of course.
Yeah.
You've got your theory to do as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think it's exactly the same as your car. theory.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I
you
think
pass it
it is
once,
'cause,
you can
like,
pass it second. But
I've
yeah,
been learning my theory, and like I have like this app because I hate technology, but I have this app on my phone, and I've been trying to learn because my theory test is in October. Like everything is just taking so long to get like your like appointment. And it's just crazy. But I know there's like 50 questions in the test, and like obviously when you're learning there's loads more questions than that because they don't know which ones are going to be asked.
yeah.
And now, like, if you start learning, like if you decide to do a topic, if there's like 144 questions in one topic, you have to answer them all, because if you stop it'll just like lose all your progress and you don't know where you are and you don't know which ones you answered right or wrong. So if you want to learn, you literally have to sit down for like 8 days straight and just answer like everything, or it's just going to like wipe all the memory of like what you've just done. And I'm just like, oh, that's so annoying.
There's an idea. We need to create a new app for that.
I
Yeah, there you
know.
go.
I answered all the
There's a
time.
market for that. There is a market for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare. That'd be a
And you
nightmare.
can always convince your mom to get a small motorcycle, like she was saying, 125, a 250. One of those smaller bikes. You don't need a big one to start out with. Trust me, I started out with the
Yeah.
250, and it was
Yeah.
loads of fun. Had so much fun
Yeah,
on
I
it.
will, because I think as well, the more and more I say it online, the more and more she's not going to be able to say no.
You're gonna have everybody behind you, but like, Mom, come on,
Yeah.
it's all done.
She's probably going to strangle me after this interview.
Sorry,
You
Mom,
know
we still
that.
love you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But she supports me through everything else, just not riding a bike.
Oh.
I'm getting a pig.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Perfect. So we kind of veered off. I love this. This is a completely different interview to normal. So
Welcome to Crazy Women Country, where we talk about motorcycles. No.
yeah, we don't talk about music anymore. We're talking about motorcycles.
Yeah. Plus, I'm really bad. Like, I could just talk for days. Like, you're probably going to be like, okay, stop. Please stop. Like,
What time is it?
yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So tell all our Crazy Women Country fans, who is Caitlin?
So I am a country singer from Caerphilly in South Wales, although I am manifesting Nashville. If I could be there right now, and if I could just like wave a magic wand and be there, I would. I songwrite, I don't just sing, and I learnt guitar in lockdown because I didn't want to have like this empty void, like this space where I wasn't able to perform on stage but didn't really like have anything else to do with the time. So I kind of learned guitar. I wanted to learn a new skill, and it's given me a lot more freedom with the songwriting because I couldn't get in the studio, but at least I could still produce like fully formed songs even if they weren't recorded yet. So I was able to get on live streams and still do them. So that was absolutely amazing. And I think that some things, because of COVID, pushed us to do things we never would have done before. And maybe eventually I would have learned guitar because I knew I always wanted to learn an instrument, but maybe it wouldn't have been like for a few years. And I feel like it has opened so many doors because there are so many places that want you to play acoustically, and it's just totally different from playing to tracks. And you can add your own spin, and you can add your own spin every time you do the song. It could be different. So that's been a really fun journey, and I've still got a long way to go. I would love to be able to do really complex things on the guitar, get in there slowly. But I love to write songs from my heart, so based on experiences and things that have happened to me in my past. And it's cool also to like write songs from a place where you are now but also where you want to be in the future. So songwriting is something that you could just do anywhere. You could be on the train and inspiration hits you and you write a full song. It might annoy people, but but it's fun. So I've spent a lot of time doing that. But stage, I absolutely love being on stage, and now that things are starting to get back to normal, I'm getting back on stage and I'm loving it. So hopefully things keep going in the right direction.
Yes, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. That's what we need. That's what we need. Perfect.
So we were doing some research on you, and we found that in 2019, you got to do the thing with Carrie Underwood. Do you want to tell everyone about that?
That was the most incredible night. I say it all the time, but I wish I could just go back and, you know, perform to like 7,000 plus people every night. If I could, I would just do it every single night. It was just incredible. But yeah, it was just so unexpected because that was meant to be my first concert, the Carrie Underwood concert. Actually, my uncle ended up taking me to see Pink like 2 weeks before, so he just pipped my parents because they wanted to take me to my first concert. Um, and it was supposed to be a surprise. But when they booked the tickets, it said you could audition to sing with Carrie Underwood, and they were like, we have to tell her, we can't keep that a secret, you know?
No.
So they told me, and I auditioned, and they said you would hear back with the week before, so like no later than a week before or 5 days before, something like that, before the actual concert. So I waited for that time to come, and it went, and I was like, if I can't get something that is specifically meant for country singers, what in the world can I get? Like, and that opportunity doesn't come up a lot in Wales because, you know, just you don't hear a lot about specifically country music, like competitions and opportunities. So I just thought, great, you know, I didn't get it. That's just really bad luck. But it turned out that literally like 2 or 3 days before the event, they called my mum, and my mum didn't answer because she was on the phone to her mum, and because they live in Spain, my grandparents, that she was like just really enjoying speaking to them, and she didn't want to cut the conversation short, so it just went to answer machine. And afterwards she went to her voicemails to listen, and it was like, hey, it's Shelley from Carrie Underwood's team. And my mum just, I don't know, I just heard like commotion in the kitchen, and I went in and my brother went in and my mum was crying, and I was like, oh my god, who's died? I thought like I thought the worst. I was just like, no, no, something's gone wrong. And she was like, you've got it. And I was like, got what? Because at this point I'd put it to the back of my mind because I didn't want to dwell on something, you know, that I wished that I'd gotten but didn't. So I didn't want to, you know, just keep it in the, you know, front of my mind. So I was just like, that's, you know, gone. On to the next opportunity. So she's like, you got it. And I was like, you're gonna have to elaborate. I'm really confused. And she was like, you're gonna sing with Carrie Underwood. I was like, no way. It was surreal because at that point I'd already said to myself, well, you know, some things go your way and some things don't, so you've just got to get up, dust yourself off and move on. So I didn't think it was gonna happen. And it was just amazing. And my mum, I think, contacted them via email because we couldn't call back. We couldn't phone the number back because it was an American number. And she emailed. She was like, will there be a rehearsal? And they were like, no. It just happens, you know, on the night, the way it happens.
Oh,
So
wow.
my parents then were kind of freaking out for me because they were like, she's never performed in front of 7,000 people. Like, who
Yeah.
knows what's going to go on. Um, and for me, it was just the absolute best night of my life because I always feel like the more people in the room and the bigger the crowd, the bigger the buzz, and you all feel it, and it's just like an incredible atmosphere. So I think if you can perform in front of 7,000 people over 30, then it's like just, who wouldn't? It's just amazing. But I mean, I met Carrie Underwood before we sang together, and she was absolutely incredible and so kind and so down to earth. And it was just like talking to somebody I'd known all my life.
That's so cool. Well done. I think I saw the video actually. I think you had the video on Facebook. So
Yeah. And I think like somebody else had sent a video, but from a different angle because my dad was taking the video because we weren't allowed to tell people that I was performing until the actual, well, like they didn't know till I was on stage.
yeah.
So my dad had already like had a camera out to record and everything. But when I was on stage, some people were just filming anyway, and so they caught it from different angles. So I think that when we put on my YouTube, we then put one out, and it was not even that long ago that we found that was from somebody else who'd taken footage. So it was crazy.
It's so awesome.
That is. I have to ask you the question. Why do you call your fans dreamers? How did that come about?
My first single that I released was called The Dream, and I just felt like it was super appropriate and just like a throwback, I think, to where I started on the songwriting and kind of original song journey, because I had been writing for like years before that, because just it was something that I always loved. But I think when you're like an unsigned artist and you don't know the first thing about releasing music, it can take a really long time to get your foot in the door and actually just decide that you're not going to wait for a label or for a management team. You're just going to do it and see where
Yeah.
it goes. So I do hold the dream. I have a special place in my heart for the dream. And I just felt like with that song, I didn't do any kind of promotion. I just put it out there and I just let it fly. And I was just like, I didn't know the first thing about releasing. So it didn't really, well, I don't even know if it did chart, because I didn't even check the charts. I didn't even know that was a thing at the time. So who knows? But I just feel like despite all those things that you aim for, it was just a start. It was a beginning of
Yeah.
something that I'm still doing now and that I still love now. So I just think it's awesome to have the Dreamers, because it always reminds me of the first release and something that will always be special to me.
That's perfect. I love that. Absolutely love that. There's so many posts I see you say, "Oh, good night, dreamers." I'm like, that's so cool. That is
Yeah, and I
such a
wanted
great.
us to all feel like a family as well, because especially since the first pandemic, when everything moved online and we were all very much online all the time because it was the only way to really socialize.
Yeah.
Um, and I met so many incredible people, and it's just that they're still there now. And even though a lot of them aren't even in the country, like they're in America, they're in Australia, they're all over the place, we can still connect with each other. And that's just one of the positives that has come out of quite a negative time and an uncertain time. So I feel like we'll always be there for each other now, because I'll never just stop doing live streams and things like that. I will always, I think I'll just always owe it to them,
Yeah.
because before all this, I didn't even know there was such a big country community out there to find and to discover. So
Yeah.
I'm just really grateful.
I must admit, when we started our Facebook lives, and I think we had already had you on, and I put a message out saying that anybody looking to do this, and there's quite a few people come to us saying you've got to get Caitlin on. And I'm like, she's already been on. Check this out, and they're like, oh my god! So it was like,
Oh, that's
yay!
awesome.
So yeah, there's definitely people out there. It's like we want Caitlin, and okay.
Oh, they seriously, like, they are just incredible people, and I love them all. They're awesome.
It's perfect. I love that. It's
So,
perfect.
one more quick question. Who are some of the women that have inspired you to do music?
That is such a hard question, because there are so many. I've always been a huge fan of Carrie Underwood. Like, I really love her style, and just her voice. Everything is just so cool. Um, and she's definitely inspired me. And I love the fact that she has like grit and like rockiness to her voice, and some of her songs just really have that edge. I mean, growing up, Taylor Swift was a huge inspiration for me, and so many others. But I feel like that is just, everybody has been inspired by Taylor Swift at some point. Uh, and I think
Hey,
like the
Gigi. So my apologies for the dog interruption. Gigi decided she was going to chase something, so
Bye.
oh
yeah.
no, that's I think like the first country song that I heard, that not the first country song ever, because there are so many and I don't even remember the first one. But the first one that I heard that I was like, I would love to sing that song, was My Church by Maren Morris. But it was on like a Shires documentary, so it wasn't actually about Maren Morris. It was just like dubbed over the top, so it didn't say the name of the song. And I had a really hard time finding what it was called, because I think it starts off, I cussed on a Sunday, and I thought it said I cursed on a Sunday, and I was like typing in the lyrics and trying to find it, and it was like nowhere. And I was like, where is this song? Like it doesn't exist. Like, but eventually I found it and I learned it, and I found lots of other songs then along with it, because
Yeah.
whenever you type something in, it'll always say recommended after that. So there were
Yeah.
loads more, and that opened doors. So I love Maren Morris and all her songs. But for me, choosing to go down the music path, and I guess quite a hard path because it's different for everybody and things are always changing. My family have also been, a huge support, and they're people that inspire me. So my mum, my grandmum, my mum, or she lives in Spain, but she loves the arts and she loves to be creative. So I feel like I get a lot of creativity from her and from my mum, and they've just always been huge support. So definitely them.
Awesome. And have you heard? Taylor Swift has only just joined TikTok.
No, I didn't know.
I saw it on Facebook.
I'm getting weird to get on TikTok.
Yeah, that's so cool. I didn't realize because I've like found some like famous people who have joined, and I know some people have like really embraced it. Like one person that I noticed was on there was like Ed Sheeran, and at first people, because I think because it became such a platform for people to become like influencers and become famous when they weren't famous to start with, but they kind of went viral and now they're famous. I think because that was what it was popular for.
Yeah.
When actually like already famous people started to join, people were like, well, that's not fair, they're already famous. But it's an app for everybody, and it's an app for creativity where you can record things and just put them out really easily, and it's an easy way to connect, especially now when you can't always go out and actually see people as easily as we could before. So I think it's an all-inclusive app, so that's awesome, and I'll be checking that out later on.
Check her out, she's on there. I couldn't believe it. I thought she's only just joined. I thought she'd been on there years ago, but there you go.
That's awesome.
That is very, very cool. I love that. Perfect. So this is my favourite part. Oh, my question didn't fly away. The fellow's just gone low. So we've got a section called, I don't know what it's called. It keeps changing.
20 questions plus one.
There you go. 20 questions plus one. We're going to stick with that one.
Okay.
Or we can just start calling it 21 questions for you.
21 questions.
So these are really, really fun quick fire questions, okay? And it's about you, not the music. So we get to know you as a person rather than you as the musician. So.
Okay, that's awesome.
I hope you're ready for this. These are the best.
I hope so too.
Everybody has fun with these.
With quick fire questions, everything goes like my brain is like empty, and I'm like, and it's like I forget to speak English. I'm like, what is going on?
she's gonna answer us in Welsh, and we'll be like, what?
We're lost. Can you please repeat that?
I myself would be lost if I started speaking in Welsh too. So I'd have to have a dictionary and like Google Translate out and figuring it out.
She's speaking in tongues someday.
That'd be funny. Okay, are you ready for this now? Are you prepared for the fun?
I think so.
She's like, where's the door? We should have like a little stress meeting. You can see it rising as you ask the question.
Yeah. Yep.
Breaking point, like.
It's just gonna go.
Yeah.
Okay, so early bird or night owl?
Definitely a night owl. My parents know it.
She keeps them up at all hours. I love that. That's funny.
I do.
What sitcom family or what TV show would you be a member of?
I'm gonna say the first thing that comes to my mind is Modern Family, because we really are like Modern Family. It's just crazy, but I would definitely say like my parents are Phil and Claire, my brothers Luke, and I want to say I'm a mixture of Haley and Alex, because I'm just like a Haley and Alex tuna roll mixed together. That's what I want to say. I want to be able to be brainy but also be pretty, and for it not to be like one or the other.
That's very cool. I love that. Okay, so if we had a look at your iPod or your phone, what would be your guilty pleasure music?
This is such a hard one, because I always say, like growing up, whenever you would do like pop like trivia and things in school, and they'd be like, name these artists, and they're like all, you know, really people who are in the charts. Because I was so like obsessed with country music, I would be like, I have no idea. It was like I wasn't even living in this century. Like I had no idea. So on my phone, well, on all my devices, it's pretty much taken up with loads of country music. But I also really do appreciate all genres, and I actually had like this period where I loved a lot of like Eminem's songs and stuff. I mean, especially on my old iPod, I had like this pink old iPod, and I'm not good with technology, so I only had like 5 songs on there. But
you just plug it in and it does the rest. That's funny. I love that. Eminem, I love that. That's very cool. Okay, so what is the weirdest, sweetest, or cutest thing a fan has ever done for you?
Ooh, because the Dreamers are absolutely incredible, and a few of them have sent me like little surprise gifts, and I had no idea until they arrived. And I've had like flowers, because at one point I wasn't very well, and they sent me get well soon flowers. I've had like the necklace I'm wearing was from one of my Dreamers, and he lives out in America. I think it's Ohio. And so I just absolutely love it. And he actually also sent me a gremlin bell for when I do eventually get a motorbike. I said to my mum, I've got a gremlin bell, I need a bike to put it on. Like, I need a, I'm sorry, but it, so, like that's just been like so sweet, and incredible things that they've done. But one time I went to a festival, and I met a guy, and he had never previously heard my music. So he just watched my set for the first time. And he came over afterwards, and he was like, oh, like, that was incredible, I loved it. And I don't think he was necessarily a country music fan, but he just happened to be there. And he was like, I would just love to buy you a drink. And I was like, oh, I don't really drink. I pretty much drink water mostly on a daily basis. And so I was like, oh, I don't really drink. And he was like, no, I have to buy you a beer from this like beer stall. It's like absolutely incredible, the best beer like that has ever existed. So I was like, oh, I just felt like I couldn't say no. So I was like, oh, okay then. So he was like, oh yeah, that's awesome, I want to buy you a drink. So we went over to this beer stall, and I ended up talking to somebody else who'd watched the set, and so he's like ordering 2 drinks for us, and it comes to like payment, and he turns to me and he was like, so do you have the money? And I was like, oh, I didn't want beer. I thought I'm what? Like, he said he wanted to buy me a drink, but then he asked me for the money, and I didn't even want any beer. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I had to like go back across like this grassy field to my mum to get money, because I left my money with my mum. And then come back, and it was just like that kind of moment where you're like, oh my god, I'm so like, it was just really unexpected.
Who says I'm going to buy you a drink and you pay for it? That's like, great line.
That's great. I'm gonna try that one. I'm gonna just find some random person, be like, I'm gonna buy you a drink, and see if they'll buy me a drink. Yeah, like.
I know. I was like, did I miss something? Like,
There's something in translation there.
I know, and also like, because it was like this craft beer, and it was like a stall at a festival, it wasn't exactly cheap. And it was just, it was crazy. But he's not even like on social media. So, because he was like, oh, you know, can I have your number? So I was like, well, my name is like Caitlin Mae Music on social media. So, and he was like, no, I don't have social media. And I was like, oh no, because I don't usually give out like my personal number. It pretty much got my mum and my dad in it. That is literally my social life. My mum and my dad and my brother, but he never answers. So, yeah. But now I also have this guy who said he'd buy me a beer, but then I paid for it. So.
That is the craziest story ever. I love that.
That is.
That is just the best story ever. It goes from the sweetest thing ever to like,
yeah, it was
what the hell,
bizarre. I don't know.
There we go.
Oh. So
That's
I'll tell
funny.
you, if we're ever in the UK, if I'm ever in the UK seeing you, or you're Nashville, we're Nashville, I will buy you a drink, and I mean that for real. I will buy you a drink, and it can be water, it can be whatever you want.
That's funny.
It
That's
was
just
like I barely even drank any of it either because I really don't like drink alcohol at all. Like really, I will occasionally share a cider with my mum, but even that they're not even very big cans, and I have half a cider, so it's really not a lot. It's like a sippy cup. It's like
that is just the funniest thing ever.
yeah.
If anybody asks to buy me a drink, I'll be like, are you paying?
Yeah,
Ask beforehand. Are you
yeah,
paying for this one?
who's ordering? Like who's paying? Like
It's gonna be a question for him. That's funny.
oh.
Okay. Boots or heels?
Boots, definitely. I'm wearing my cowboy boots right now.
And
I want to say I could walk in heels, but that would be a lie. So
I can't imagine you wearing heels much in Wales, I must admit. It's
no, I mean, I made the mistake of wearing a pair of heels the other night because I really just thought I don't do it very often, so why not switch it up a little bit and really surprise people that I leave the house actually looking like a girl because I'm quite a tomboy, so I usually just wear whatever. But what I didn't bargain for was I was going to play at a restaurant and the floor was really slippery, and I feel like they should say that in the email, like the floor is slippery, okay? So I probably would have fallen flat on my face even if I didn't wear heels, but no, I had to wear heels, so I was like all over the place. And it was the day that I had my second jab as well, my COVID jab. And the first time that I had the jab, I was completely fine, like I had a sore arm, but that was it. And then it just so happened that everything clashed on one day. And this day that I'm playing at a restaurant acoustically in heels and I had the jab, I actually felt ill with the jab. So I was dizzy and I was like, if I'm on the floor, guys, I promise I'm fine. I'll keep going from there. Like, I won't even try to get up.
I'm just gonna sit here and play.
Yeah.
Oh no,
And my
that's not
mic
good.
stand broke as well. So it probably would have been better off lower down on the floor because it wouldn't stay up. So
That really wasn't a good day. That was
it
just
wasn't a good day.
oh nightmare. Nightmare. Okay, so we know your favourite drink, so we can skip that one. What's your favourite holiday?
I love. It sounds really basic because I feel like this is everybody, but I love Christmas. Absolutely love Christmas. But I'm really lucky because my birthday's in the summer, so I feel like you have your own special holiday in the summer, and then you have Christmas, and that rolls around, and that's always awesome. But we usually go for like a family holiday for Christmas. That's like our tradition. We didn't used to spend it in this country. We'd be abroad somewhere. But because of COVID, we haven't been able to go, so I've really missed that. And it just feels like I need to be in Florida right now, just having fun. Because we did used to have a villa out there, but we sold it like a few years back. So we did go out to Mexico for one Christmas, and that was just an awesome holiday. And I just spent pretty much every day in the sea bodyboarding, which was awesome. But yeah, this year we spent it home, unfortunately, because like it was just really bad as well. Because usually when we go abroad, it's just my nuclear family, so we'll like Skype my other family back home. But this year we stayed home, but we still had to Skype them because they couldn't come to the house. So it doesn't matter if you're 20 miles away or if you're 200. Like it doesn't matter. It just we couldn't see them.
That was crazy.
Well, we look forward to you coming back to Florida for Christmas.
Yes. Oh, I miss it. We just need to go back there. We like met so many incredible people out there as well, and I really miss them, and I just can't believe how long it's been since I last gave them a hug. But yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah.
What's your favourite animal?
What's my favorite
Animal.
animal? I do love dogs because I just feel like your life is not complete unless you have a dog. You have to have a dog. But I am obsessed with pigs. I love pigs. I want a pig. And yeah, it's not going very well for me because my parents are like, no, you can't have a pig. And I'm like, why? why we have a dog, why can't we have a pig? I don't understand, you know? But they're like, they had so many reasons why we couldn't have a pig. But all those reasons, they didn't make sense because they were just like, pigs smell. Well, no, pigs are actually very hygienic. They don't smell. They're very smart. She was like, my parents were like, but you know, pigs, they're not very smart. They are very smart. They're very smart, you know? I did like a PowerPoint why we should get a pig and, you know, any reason that they had why we shouldn't. There was an answer in this, so I don't understand why we don't have a pig. I had a name picked out. I had like a blanket. It's still saved online, and it says "Dream big, little one." And it was like this blue blanket. It had like a yellow moon. I don't understand. They haven't. I still don't have a good reason. Like.
So we need to get all your dreamers together, put a campaign.
Yes.
Pig for Caitlin.
Yeah, because you know, I just don't understand. Like I'm very upset about it. You know, they tortured me. They took me to a micro pig farm where I assumed I was gonna get a micro pig. And I still left there without one. And I was like, why? Oh, why? And we found out that micro pigs grow to like the size of a beagle. And my mum was like, that's too big. But we had a Labrador. We used to have a why can't a micro pig is smaller than a Labrador? Why? Like that's not a good excuse.
What about a little potbelly pig? The real small ones.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah,
And I
those
wanted
tiny...
to sleep on my bed, you know, and just. But
yeah,
it's not to be. It's just
We'll
not.
get this. Pig for Caitlin. Pig for Caitlin. We're gonna start riots. Pig for Caitlin. Come on.
I know, because I've even got like sweatshirts and tank tops saved, which are like mini pig mama, and I want to go and get like customized T-shirts that will say like I'm with Caitlin Mae for the pig, and then my one will say I'm with Boss Hog. So if we ever get lost, it's just like, oh, they're together. I get it. So,
Oh, this is all you've got. The whole thing planned. I love it.
I know. I should find the PowerPoint and I should like show people it.
You
online.
should. That'd be awesome. That would be so cool.
It was the best PowerPoint I've ever done. Like, forget about like when you do PowerPoints for school and stuff. This was a work of art. Like A+, but no.
We need to see this. We
So
need to do a takeover where we just go through Caitlin's PowerPoints.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Okay. I love this conversation about the pig. It's the best conversation ever. Okay, so if you could add somebody to Mount Rushmore, who would it be and why?
I'm gonna say Carrie Underwood because hopefully she'll let me tag along with her and I can. And Carrie Underwood, Caitlin Mae, hopefully.
Yeah.
And you know, why shouldn't females take over Mount Rushmore? Why not? Why not?
Absolutely.
There we go. We're with you on that one. We are with you on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, and no, I can't remember. I think you've already answered this one. But what was the first concert you went to?
It was supposed to be Carrie Underwood, but it ended up being Pink because my uncle, he lives in Bournemouth, but he had booked to like go and see Pink, and he was supposed to go with my auntie, but my auntie didn't want to leave her baby because she hadn't long had her baby, so she didn't want to leave her, and she just felt like it was wrong. And so because my mum was initially, me and my mum were initially supposed to babysit so they could go to the concert, but she was like, no, last minute, I don't want to do it. So I ended up actually going in her place. And it was an awesome first concert, but I do kind of feel like I betrayed the country music community because my first concert wasn't country. But you know, I'll just keep it on the down low.
Yeah, but come on.
Yeah, but come on, she's collaborated with Keith Urban, so it all works, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it counts. It counts.
It counts. It does.
I mean,
come off it. It's Pink.
She flew out into the audience, and
awesome.
I was like, that was my idea. Like, I know I'm not. I know I haven't performed stadiums yet, but that was my idea. And then she stole it.
That is not good. That is not good. I must admit, I saw her in Germany and it was just awesome. She did one in the football stadiums and it was just like,
Yeah.
she knows how to put on the show.
Yeah, she was awesome. Like, she was just incredible. It was it was a real show, because I
Yeah.
feel like whenever you go to a concert and they go like that, those extra few miles to just make it like this incredible visual thing to watch as well, and not just, you know, vocal, but it was just amazing all around.
Yeah. Fantastic. I love it.
So, what's your favorite color?
It's definitely blue. I love blue. It's, my favorite color.
What is the best thing since sliced bread?
The best thing since sliced bread has got to be country music. Go.
Great answer.
Great answer. That is just amazing. I love it.
If you could talk to anyone, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you want to talk about?
I feel like this is a question as well that I've heard before, and it's really hard to answer because I don't want anybody to be coming back from the grave to haunt me so I can ask them questions. So I'm not going to say anybody who's dead, because that would really freak me out. So if, you know, somebody alive, I would love to speak to Dolly Parton one day. That would just be incredible. But I'd also love to speak to Taylor Swift one day, because I feel like they're both in country music. They've both done incredibly well, but it was different times when they, you know, came into fame. So they must both have, you know, completely different stories to tell, and it would just be incredible to hear them both firsthand.
Yeah.
And I feel like they just have such incredible advice, because they both seem like such amazing people, and they do seem like they are all for building other females up and just supporting other artists. So I would love to speak to them.
That'd be awesome.
Those are both great. Awesome. Yes.
Yep.
So if you weren't doing music, what would you be doing?
She'd have a pig farm.
She'd have a pig farm.
I would have pigs galore. That is literally, I would just have 100,000 pigs. And they are clean and they're hygienic, so we're good. No, okay. What would I be doing? I feel like music is such a huge part of my life, that it's really hard to imagine anything else. And in the past, people have said to me, you know, what's your plan B in case this doesn't work out? And I'm like, my plan B is to make it work out. That is my plan B, because if you don't believe in it, and you don't believe in what you're doing, and you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will, and you kind of have to put that out into the universe to make it happen. So it is hard to imagine, but there are lots of other things that I am interested in, and I feel like I love to always expand on my knowledge. And even though I feel like I don't have a lot of time for it now, because I really want to focus on the music, in the future, if I feel like I'm in a more stable place, I would love to go back and like maybe look at criminology and look at psychology and things like that, because they just really interest me. But yeah.
That'd be cool.
That's cool. If you could be a Disney character, what character would you be?
I would have to say Merida from Brave, because I just feel like I relate to her so much. I mean, not just the hair color, but I love the fact that she's a female protagonist, and it's different to the other kind of Disney movies, because she's not necessarily this girly character who needs help from, you know, a male character to come in and save her. She's badass. I want to be badass. So if they're doing a live action movie of Brave, please consider me. I'm here.
That's pretty cool.
Do you have a favorite of ice cream, and what is it?
I don't know if this is boring, but I love clotted cream ice cream. It's amazing. You know, it's not quite vanilla. It's got something. It's got attitude. It's vanilla with attitude. You know?
New one. I love that. Vanilla with attitude.
So what's your favorite snack?
Oh, I do love snacks. So this could be a long
Okay,
list.
top two.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm a sucker for American snacks that are really hard to get over here, because some of my neighbors in Florida, they said you need to try Triscuits. So I tried Triscuits, and they are seriously like savory heaven. They are just incredible. But completely on the other end of the scale, I love Dippin' Dots, and again, you can't get them over here, but they are just, you just can't compare. Like, I could probably just have a diet of Dippin' Dots and Triscuits, and I'd be good. Like, I could survive.
So are you dipping are you taking the Triscuits and putting them in the dipping dots at all? I just want to know, because there's some weird combinations over here. I'm just asking.
I feel like it could work. It really could work. But I've never tried it, and that's because whenever you get like Dippin' Dots, you're usually like at the theme parks or at, some kind of like amusement. And we would always have Triscuits back in the villa, or my neighbour's villa. So, but I feel like that's on my to-do list. Like, it's on my bucket list. You need to try it. The combination.
Okay, just let us know when you try it. We'll just do a live stream and be like, it's really good together.
A live taste test. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, so hypothetically, if I told you I needed to hide a dead body, do you know a good place?
I feel like the smart thing to say, or the smart thing not to say, is probably not to reveal my secret hiding place on, on a video, because then they'd find the other bodies. But I don't want to implicate myself.
Okay, point taken. We'll just say yes.
We know who to go to in Wales.
So, what would be a good theme song for your life, or at this point in your life?
Oh, that is. Oh, let me think. I don't know. On the spot, I feel like it's really hard to think about that. I feel like there are so many songs out there probably that would really be well suited. But because I released my debut EP, and it was actually about kind of growing up and my relationship with my sister, so it literally was just from start to finish fact. It was just about my life. I feel like maybe any of the songs off the EP would be a good theme tune, because it would just be like, yep, her life's a train wreck. That makes sense.
I love it. Don't sugarcoat it. You know my name. She's just a bit. That's it. That's perfect.
I think that's such the biggest difference between the, if you will, the non-American artist and the American artist. You will see that. I've seen that in the Canadian artist and the British artist. Yeah. Just that difference of that. No, there's no sugarcoating. I mean, some of the Americans will sugarcoat a little more, you can tell, but it's just funny the way no one else seems to sugarcoat outside of the US. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know what works for other people, but my coping mechanism is comedy. So
yeah.
we just, it's all one big joke.
Yep.
If you're laughing, you're not crying. So
yeah.
If you're laughing, you're surviving. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I can tell you. It was always funny. We used to joke and say we were always getting together as a family, either weddings or funerals, and we're laughing at both of them just as much. So,
Yeah.
Why not? You know what I mean?
We're celebrating the life. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, tell our audience a good album, an artist, or even just a song that they should listen to before they die.
So probably my biggest flaw is I find an album and I will play it to death, like until you just can't play it anymore, and you feel like you need to find something else that you can listen to on repeat for 3 years. Um, but I'm just going to quickly look on my phone because there are a couple that I've been really obsessed with lately. There is one album by Caitlin Smith, and it's called Supernova, and I seriously love all the songs on that album, and it's just I just love listening to it. But there's also the album by Kelsey Ballerini, The First Time, and I was, these are all ones that I've just gone through phases where I'm not good at alternating. Like, if I alternated, I would never get sick of those songs. But no, I have to just keep listening to them on repeat night and day. And everybody in my house, whether they're a country music fan or not, they know every single word.
Hey, I just want to quick. Has your mom forbidden you to play anything because you've overplayed it?
She hasn't.
Yeah.
Probably,
Okay.
probably she has, but she hasn't said it. So in her mind, she's probably like, if you don't stop playing it, I'm gonna, when you're sleeping, I'm gonna delete it. But but I do know that my dad, he loves to play my songs in his car over and over again. So even if there's like 4 tracks or something on one CD, he can sometimes just play one song like on repeat over and over. And we do a lot of traveling because of the festivals. I'm always a pain, so we travel a lot because of the music. And if it's a 4-hour journey, you could listen to the one song for 4 hours. And my mum's like, I love her music, but if you don't turn it off, like, I am gonna tuck and roll. I'm gonna be gone. So
Oh, that's
yes.
Oh. You know what? We need to have a live camera when you're in the car with your parents, because I think
Yeah.
that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, we do.
A hilarious journey.
We do. I feel like either people are gonna be like, I want to stick around, or they're gonna be like, I'm blocking this chick. She's gone. Like,
That'll be funny. That'll be so funny. Caitlin live on the road.
Yeah. And it's it's never the same. The two trips are never the same.
Mm.
Something always, it doesn't even have to go wrong. It's just sometimes the whole journey's either spent like laughing or it's spent crying. It's just there's no in between. Like, and there's never a quiet journey. Like, I mean, you could probably tell because I never shut up. But we're all very talkative and we're kind of all extroverts, so it's like a circus.
Seriously, that is so cool.
Yeah, I was on like a BBC iPlayer program called Teen Taxi, and it was all about that, like life in the car and journeys to and fro. And it wasn't just about music; it was about like I think there was like 16 or 17 teenagers that they chose to film. And they would be in a car behind, and they'd rig up your car with all these cameras, and then you'd have mics on, and they would be listening to you in the car behind, and they'd be filming you, and so you'd just be being crazy and wacky, and they'd even be like car dancing, so you'd put on a song and you'd be singing or you'd be dancing to it, and it was just, it was really fun. But I mean, it was crazy. It was just
That is so fun. That is so fun. Okay, +1 question. This is the most important question ever. I hope you're ready for this. Are you
drum
prepared
roll,
now?
please.
Yeah.
Anxiety meter is now up to high.
Yeah. The stress level's up here now.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is your favourite CWC host?
Oh no, I can't answer that. You guys are just amazing, but it's just. I mean, I'm not America, but you guys are. I'm not from America, but you guys are like peanut butter and jelly. You can't. They go together.
Perfect. Peanut butter and jelly. There you
Peanut
go.
butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reese's Pieces.
Yes. You guys.
Oh, I love it. That's so cool. That's so cool. This has been so much fun. I have to say, this has been great.
Say, like, I think I'm permanently smiling.
Yeah.
That's good. We like people smiling. Everybody has so much fun there interviews because we're just let it happen.
It's supposed to be relaxing, get to know you, hopefully
Yeah.
get some more fans for you, and that's
Yeah,
it.
just
I mean,
yes.
people are probably going to be like, I did not know she was this crazy. Like,
That's why you fit in with the Crazy Women Country family.
yes, yes.
There you go. So tell us, what have you got planned for the rest of 2021?
I've got a lot more live events, thankfully, because when, for pretty much a whole year, everything was online, and I was really grateful for it, but I did really miss getting out and being on the road. I don't know how much my parents missed it, being trapped in a car with me for, 3 hours plus, but I loved it anyway. I had a good time. But yeah, I've got lots of festivals planned. I've got like dates and venues on my social media. But I also plan to do a lot more releasing. So I've got an EP in the works, but I haven't got a fixed date for it. And I've also got a single in the works. And I said this in another interview, I think like back a couple of weeks ago. But I'm not 100% sure if this particular single is going to be able to come out this year, because the weather has kind of changed here and we need to figure out if it's going to be warm enough for me to do the cover photo, and that probably sounds really strange. Um, but I haven't said what the cover photo is going to be, so people hopefully are thinking up lots of different scenarios in their minds as to why it would need to be warm for me to take part in the cover photo. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to do it and release it this year, because I don't want to wait a year. I really don't want to wait a year. So
When you
fingers
mentioned that
crossed.
reminds me of the Titanic, of the filming of the Titanic. They were always
Yeah.
saying about how cold they were in that water, and I'm like, yeah. So
Yeah, because I know, because they said like if it was like warm-ish water, they feel like they wouldn't be able to like capture the characters and how cold they actually were,
yeah,
Yeah,
But yeah, I just
that's gonna be crazy. Seriously, absolutely crazy.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like, because I really loved working on Perspective, and the cover photo for Perspective is like my favorite cover photo, and I just wanted it to embody what the songs were about, because I felt like just explaining the storyline in the songs wasn't enough. It had to also, be explained, I think, by the cover photo.
Yes.
So I really spent a lot of time working on it and coming up with ideas. And now I just feel like you don't want to like go downhill from there. You want to keep
Yeah.
going up.
Yeah.
So that's going to be hard, because I'm not saying this one, but after this one, it's going to be hard. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
going to do after this one.
Gonna get harder and harder and harder.
Yeah, it's just going to be, I mean, I'm going to have to like skydive or something. Like,
Now that would be fun. There
Yeah.
she is.
and I don't think my photographer will be up for it, so I'll have to I'll just have to do selfie. Like,
Save me!
yeah.
Oh, that is fun. I love that. That is the best. Oh, this has been hilarious. We should come back on more often.
This has
Yes.
seriously been like a full-blown comedy show. I've loved it.
It's the best. We love it.
and you're welcome back anytime.
Thank
Yes.
you so much. I've had an absolutely incredible time. Thank you for having me.
No worries. No worries. It's
Our
been good.
pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you,
definitely.
everyone, for joining us for another episode of Crazy Women Country. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.